All right, we are going to go to Oregon next. And Katie Ryan is going to talk to us about what's happening in Oregon.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks, Jackie. Can everybody hear me okay? Everything look good on your end, Jackie? Great. So I am coming to you today from the Wetlands Conservancy in Oregon. We are the Beaver state. That's where we operate. Our organization is focused on wetland health in general. We're dedicated to the protection and conservation of wetlands across the state. So beavers are a portion of the work that we do. A lot of our work is focused in three main areas. So conservation, community outreach and education, and policy work. And our beaver work kind of straddles all three of those. Conservation and restoration is obviously something that we restore our landscape for beavers. We do a lot of community outreach and education on beavers. And we also advocate and work for healthy beaver or wildlife friendly legislation. Little bit more beaver specific. We, for a long time, have been running community science surveys, looking for beaver sign and beaver dam in both our urban areas and out on the coast. We recently expanded to our coastal estuaries. We support beaver friendly legislation, like I mentioned. We work with our local landowners and partners to resolve beaver conflicts, really working towards the coexistence that Lisa was talking about. And then again, we do a lot of communication and outreach on beavers. So a little bit about the Wetlands Conservancy and our work with beavers. We can go to the next slide, Jackie. Great. So in Oregon, our regulations, so beavers on public land are managed by ODF and W as fur bearers. A license is required to trap them on public land. Current regulations allow for recreational and commercial trapping during the breeding and pregnancy season here in Oregon. State law allows unlimited killing beavers on private land in all seasons and without a permit, even if the beaver is not causing any damage. So we have some work to do on some of our policies here. Current law does prevent ODF and W, our wildlife organization, from tracking where and when beaver killing occurs on private land. So right now, we're not tracking that in this state. Beavers can be relocated in Oregon. Permits must be obtained by ODF and W. We don't do much relocation. We work a lot more on coexistence, as Elisa was talking about. We can go to the next one. So I think some of the biggest challenges that I just wanted to highlight here with this group this morning is that our policies in the state, in the beaver state, are not very beaver friendly. So the policies aren't friendly and the response to change has been slow. So for example, some working groups have been promised, but haven't actually actualized yet. Some of this all may be due to the pandemic and the fact that things shifted the way we had to do business. But response has been fairly slow. In one way, beavers are discussed as heroes in one area, supporting healthy salmon populations, water quality and water quantity. However, agencies are still supporting the small number of permanent trappers each year and not changing policies to benefit this really keystone species here in Oregon. So we are engaging with other partners who are working on some pro-beaver legislation. There's currently legislation in the Oregon State Senate House that aims to ban trapping on all federal land. So that's 33 million acres here in this state. So that's one effort that we're putting together, or we're working with partners on. Through our volunteer beaver surveys and other outreach efforts, we are really working to change the perception of beavers in the state and helping people understand the incredible value that beavers have on the landscape, to humans, and to all wildlife. And then on properties we own, of course, beavers are a big part of our restoration strategy. We are a land trust, so we do own and conserve and steward property. And we are always working on beaver-friendly plantings. How can we get the beavers back in here to do a lot of the restoration work for us, because they're cheaper in a lot of ways. We can get the beavers back. So that's our challenges here. And then I just thought I'd share a little bit of successes, so we can go to that one, Jackie.
There we go.
So again, while policies seem slow to change here in the Beaver state, attitudes are definitely changing. We're starting to just see a lot more interest and excitement around beavers and beavers with restoration. Thanks to significant community outreach, many cities and communities are creating plans to coexist with beavers. And so we are helping advise where we can with those larger plans, those larger community and municipality plans. And then again, as I mentioned, we are working on the effort to ban trapping on public lands, which is coinciding with an effort to really work with private landowners to educate on the value of beavers. And I will say, you know, at TWC, at the Wetlands Conservancy, we have worked successfully using pond levelers and some other tools to coexist with beavers in an urban area and to keep our neighboring landowners happy and working with them. So it's a lot of education and a lot of being out there on the ground, but we have been successful with that. So I think I will leave it at that.
Thank you so much, Katie. I wanted to let our audience know that if you have questions for any of the panelists, please go ahead and put them in the Q&A. And or at a certain point when we're done with all the panelists, we can also raise your hand. But I just want to make sure you know that we're going to we saved time for Q&A. So we will get back to all of the panelists having an opportunity to answer your questions. So just wanted to let you know that. Thank you so much, Katie. Lots of stuff going on in Oregon. I know that. Have some really good connections there in Oregon, and I've had a lot of conversations. There's a lot of work going on, a lot of good work, and thank you.
Yeah, thank you.